From his time in the UFC as the heavyweight champ to the WWE throwing in an offer he couldn't refuse. This is why Brock Lesnar chose WWE over the UFC. Starting with Lesnar's awesome journey in combat sports, which won him heavyweight titles in both the UFC and the WWE. If he really puts his mind to it, he has a good shot at getting back in the champion circle, but the reigning heavyweight champ Jon Jones would demolish him, especially since Lesnar isn't the best striker. Besides, the WWE superstar hasn't set foot inside the cage since 2016, and Dana White isn't holding his breath for his comeback either. In fact, he wants everyone to know that while he and the Beast are still friends, he's not banking on a return anytime soon. Sure, they go way back, and they've always had a good understanding, but considering how comfortable he is in the WWE and the fact that he's already won the UFC heavyweight title, he has nothing more to prove. Lesnar's last tango in the UFC Octagon was with Mark Hunt 7 years ago. The twist? It ended in a big controversy when Lesnar got flagged for banned substances post-fight, leading the bout to scrubbed off the record books. Now, he jumped into White's circus in 2008. That was 4 years post his dramatic WWE exit, and his initial UFC outing was a bit of a bummer when he tripped against Frank Mir right after he had aced Min Soo Kim in his MMA debut at Dynamite USA a year before. But Lesnar didn't let that define him. He brushed off the dirt and went on a 4-fight winning spree, taking down big names like Heath Herring, Shane Carwin, and his old nemesis Mir. So he has nothing left to prove, and he's not getting any younger. Now, normally you'd think that age would be a red flag, especially in the world of pro wrestling. I mean, those guys are out there putting their bodies through hell with all those shows and tours. But the thing is, his pro wrestling career lasted just around 6 years, and then he dipped out for over 5 years. So he had a good amount of time to recover and recharge before he went back to the WWE. His body might actually be thanking him for the break. At 46, he's still got plenty of gas left in the tank to stay relevant in the WWE with potentially another 6 years or more of wrestling. In comparison, it's a bit of a different story with the UFC cause age matters a bit more in the Octagon. Sure, Lesnar's got the size advantage, and that's no small thing. But in MMA, fighters seem to go through a lot more than they do in scripted wrestling. So age isn't just a number here, it's a factor for why he chose WWE over the UFC. Speaking of factors, he left the UFC while still looking very strong. Yeah, he lost a bunch of times before he left, but he wasn't actually a pushover in match after match. So now that he's back, most wrestling fans don't picture him as someone who got the short end of the stick from the company. Instead, they see a dominant wrestler who once transitioned into a dominant MMA champion coming back to claim his spot in the spotlight once again. Now, I get it, this might sound a bit ludicrous to MMA fans, but not every WWE fan is also a die-hard combat sports fan. You see, even though they've heard of Lesnar's UFC gig, most of them haven't actually watched any of his MMA fights. Their memory of him mostly revolves around his wrestling wins. And you know what? Keeping his wrestling wins in mind served as a solid foundation for his return, and the WWE needed big names at the time. They were kind of in this rebuilding mode, putting the spotlight on the younger talents, trying to create some new stars like Paul Logan is these days, and honestly, that's a pretty healthy direction to take, cause when Lesnar made his comeback, he was right back to ruling the cage once more. But it's hard to imagine WWE ever going all in with him, especially since he himself doesn't want to anymore. In fact, before he returned, he mentioned that he wasn't going to go on long trips or spend hundreds of hours rehearsing, but it's still an absolute win for Lesnar. I mean, he's back in the spotlight, doing his thing, and probably enjoying every moment of it cause, let's be honest, there was more damage on his body than in his knockouts with the UFC. Sure, pro wrestling takes a toll on the body too, even though they're scripted. After all, those body slams and takedowns aren't exactly easy to pull off. But unlike the UFC, you only get knocked out if it's an accident. It's nothing like MMA where a knockout is kind of the goal. because he's got a bit of a weak chin, which had always been a target during his time in the UFC, and since he couldn't sort that out, the WWE is the only place where that's not a big issue. You see, in wrestling, while they do rough each other up, throwing heavy punches at each other's chins isn't exactly part of the show. Well, at least it shouldn't be, because if someone started really laying into their opponent, it's called working stiff, and it's not exactly in the WWE rulebook. But making a whole lot of money as a retired MMA fighter is. After all, he's been a heavyweight title holder in the most prestigious MMA organizations on the planet. That was his golden ticket to financial success in the WWE. Imagine going real combat sports to scripted wrestling drama. Who wouldn't pay to see that? Just take Kurt Angle for instance. The guy scored an Olympic gold medal and made a whole pro wrestling career out of it, and in Lesnar's case, he was already a rock star. Being a former MMA champ just ramped up his fame a little higher and got him paid a lot more than before, especially after that face-off with The Undertaker, which made the whole internet go crazy. This happened right after Lesnar's loss to Cain Velasquez, and it lit a fuse, sparking all kinds of theories. Fans actually started speculating about a potential matchup between the heavyweights and WrestleMania, or The Undertaker hinting at a potential matchup. Then there were those who thought there might be some bad blood between the two, like a personal grudge that was accidentally spilled in front of fans. Cause you see, wrestling fans absolutely love that kind of drama, and it only helped Lesnar's case for returning to the WWE, since a showdown with The Undertaker was a jackpot. And who knows, it might happen someday. Speaking of jackpot, Lesnar only returned because the WWE threw an offer on the table and a one-year deal worth $5 million. But they weren't asking him to do the whole 9 yards with a full-time gig. Instead, they wanted him for just a few dates, and in return, they were waiving that paycheck, cause for one thing, Lesnar wasn't exactly shown as a weak fighter. Sure, he might not have left as the champ, but MMA fans still loved watching the Beast. Now, remember, one of the reasons Brock Lesnar originally left WWE was because of the crazy schedule. So you can bet that this new offer without the crazy grind probably had him raising an eyebrow and thinking, well, that's interesting. After all, Lesnar isn't exactly known as the poster child for wrestling passion, but he's got a business mind. If the deal's right, he's in. And even though he had a bit of a dramatic exit from WWE back in 2004, his wrestling skills are still off the charts, which is why it isn't exactly shocking that WWE gave him that offer, and it paid off too. Even these days, Lesnar is still one of the top wrestlers the WWE has. So, from the WWE throwing in an offer Lesnar couldn't refuse, to his time in the UFC as the heavyweight champ, this was why Brock Lesnar chose WWE over the UFC.